In 2020, the Google Pixel 5 was Google's top-of-the-line phone, but that was almost 3.5 years ago. With newer models constantly being released, is it still worth buying in 2024? Back then, it launched at a price of $700, but today you're getting it refurbished for around $150. In this video, we're going to look at reasons to buy and reasons not to buy the Google Pixel 5 in 2024. The first reason to consider the phone is its sharp and attractive display. It's a 6-inch screen, which counts as small by today's standards, a plus for those who still like small phones. Of course, it's an AMOLED display, translating to excellent contrast, deep blacks and rich, vibrant colors that really pop, basically all the good stuff. Another perk is the 90Hz refresh rate, which is adaptive, so it can automatically switch between 60Hz and 90Hz depending on what the phone is doing, thereby managing battery life. The display is also HDR10+ certified, so you'll get even more detail and color accuracy, especially when watching HDR content on streaming services like Netflix. So for whatever you are doing, the Pixel 5's display promises a crisp, vivid and enjoyable experience. Another reason on why you may be drawn to the phone is its build quality. It's a pretty good looking phone, with a design that's aesthetically pleasing, but that only tells half the story, or maybe even a quarter. The build quality is the most important thing here. It has an aluminum frame and back, but when you look at it, obviously it doesn't look like it's metal. That's because it has a coating with a plastic-like texture and therefore you won't get fingerprint smudges all over. This choice also keeps the phone lightweight and feels sturdy. The front screen is protected by Gorilla Glass 6, which is strong enough to save it from the normal day-to-day accidental falls. And you also get an IP68 dust and water resistance rating, so you can go ahead and take underwater selfies with it. Just don't expose it to water on every chance you get. It's not perfect. Now, despite being over 3.5 years old, the performance of the phone is a key highlight. Google opted for the Snapdragon 765G chipset, the best mid-range processor at the time, and it delivered a solid and well-polished performance. It tackles most everyday tasks with ease, whether you are scrolling through social media, browsing the web, or even playing games. The 90Hz refresh rate definitely helps here too, making everything feel smooth and responsive. Plus, you get 8GB of RAM, which is plenty for multitasking. Storage is capped at 128GB and there's no way to expand it. However, for a $150 phone, 128GB is pretty decent. Obviously, the Pixel 5's performance can't compete with top-tier phones on the market today, but remember, you're not paying top dollar here. At the $150 price point, the Pixel 5 packs a serious punch. It easily outperforms any other brand new phone you'd find in that price range. So if you're looking for a phone that gets the job done without breaking the bank, the Pixel 5 is a great option. Another win for the Pixel 5 is the software. This phone launched with Android 11 and got updates all the way up to the current Android 14, so you'll still have access to the latest features and security patches. Now, since this is a Google phone, you get the stock Android experience. Unlike many budget phones that come loaded with unnecessary bloatware, the Pixel 5 keeps things clean and simple. On top of that, Pixel phones come with some unique features that you won't find elsewhere. One of these is called Call Screen, which can transcribe spam calls and even block them for you. Another one is Magic Eraser in Photos, which lets you remove those unwanted objects on the background of your photos. So the Pixel 5 not only keeps you up to date, but also throws in some special Google features. Now, one of the biggest selling points of Pixel phones have always been their cameras, and the Pixel 5 is no exception. It rocks a dual camera system on the back, a 12-megapixel main lens and a 16-megapixel ultra-wide lens. For selfies, there's an 8-megapixel front-facing camera. Photos boast excellent dynamic range, so you'll capture details in both bright highlights and dark shadows, and even in poor lighting, you'll still get clear images. It's not the best night mode out there obviously, but compared to other new phones at the $150 price point, it's practically a superpower. Portrait mode is also nice and does its job quite well. And the same goes for the selfie camera. All this is thanks to Google's image processing. When it comes to video recording, the rear camera can shoot 4K resolution at up to 60 frames per second, which is great for capturing smooth, high-quality videos. The selfie camera, on the other hand, records in 1080p in 30 frames per second, making both cameras perfectly suitable for beginner content creation. For $150, it's impossible to find cameras half as good as this on new phones. Now let's talk about a drawback to getting the Pixel 5, the lack of a microSD card slot. The phone only comes in one storage option, 128GB. For many users, that might be enough. But with apps constantly growing in size and our hunger for high-resolution photos and videos ever increasing, 128GB can fill up faster than you think. For mobile gamers, we have games that have internal downloads that take massive chunks of storage space. Or maybe you like to download entire seasons of your favorite shows to watch offline. Without a microSD card to expand the storage, you might have to make some tough choices about what stays and what goes. An even higher storage option, like 256GB, would have been ideal, but Google didn't offer that with the Pixel 5. So if you're someone who needs a ton of storage space, this could be a deal breaker. Another reason not to buy the phone is the lack of a headphone jack. This might seem like a minor detail to some people, but it's a big deal to others. Around 2020, many phone manufacturers, including Google with the Pixel 5, started ditching the headphone jack in favor of wireless audio. Bluetooth headphones are pretty good these days, but there's always that potential for a lag, especially when it comes to gaming or watching movies. That slight delay between what's happening on screen and the sound you hear can be super distracting and throw you off your rhythm. And we need to remember that most people buying phones at $150 are still used to having headphone jacks in their phones. If you're a fan of wired headphones, this phone is definitely not for you. The final reason not to buy the phone is the charging speeds. The phone supports 18W charging, which might sound decent, but by today's standards, it's on the slower side. Now it's important to note that even current flagships from Samsung, Apple and even Google themselves haven't broken away from the 18W to 25W charging range too much. So the Pixel 5 isn't exactly falling way behind the curve here. But that doesn't mean it's not slow, especially when compared to other manufacturers who are pushing the boundaries with faster charging technology. So, is the Google Pixel 5 still worth buying in 2024? Personally, I'd say yes. For a mere $150, you're getting a phone that punches above its weight class. It has a gorgeous display, smooth performance that keeps up with everyday tasks, and cameras that capture stunning photos, especially in low-light conditions. Plus, it throws in an IP68 dust and water resistance rating and wireless charging for good measure, all at a budget-friendly price. Sure, there's no headphone jack and the storage isn't expandable with the microSD card, but let's be honest, these are more inconveniences than deal breakers. With a little creativity, you can work around them. For example, a good pair of Bluetooth headphones or an adapter can solve the headphone jack issue, and cloud storage can at least try to help manage your media needs. If you're a budget-minded user, you like taking photographs and want a compact size phone, then this is a phone for you. What other older phones should you talk about? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'm Milan and this is Fuzzy Tech. Subscribe.